How do you clean your negative karma? What is the purest form of meditation? What's real freedom? These are some of the questions that I will be asking a global guru of a massive stature. He is the creator of the Art of Living Foundation. He was the creator of the very, very first World Cultural Festival in India recently. He is Sri Ravi Shankar, and I have the pleasure of meeting him here in London today. I was honored to present the first two books of my Karma and Diamonds trilogy to Sri Ravi Shankar ji. Karma and Diamonds is the journey of self-discovery across continents and lifetimes. As the title suggests, the books are about karma and searching for the self. During those journeys of self-discovery, I talk about my adventures in the foothills of the Himalayas. I go to ashrams, firewalk, and get teachings from several different gurus. This is one of the reasons why I'm so thrilled to be talking to Sri Ravi Shankar today. So Sri ji, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. I'm just really privileged to meet you and to have this conversation. As you can see, I have many questions, but we'll get through a few of those in the next few minutes. The first one I want to talk to you about is about meditation. So I know that one of your gurus perhaps was Mahesh Yogi. And he taught the TM technique, which involves giving a sound, which you bring, which arises and dies in your awareness. And you've introduced other types of techniques too at the Art of Living, guided meditations, visualizations, and the world today seems to be flowing with meditations. So there's a Buddhist technique as well of mindfulness. So the question comes to me that with so many meditations, many of them actually entrench you deeper into the mind rather than free you and liberate you to become the sakshi, to become the witness. So my question to you is, what do you consider to be the purest form of meditation?
See, meditation is effortless. And in order to go into an effortless state, it's a natural state of our life, you can use number of ways, number of techniques. All the techniques meant to help you transcend the mind. And that's what happens. And you can take the recourse through breath, through mantra, through Shaktipat, just word from the Guru. All this will help.
So earlier, I asked Sri ji what he would consider to be the purest form of meditation, given that there are so many types of meditation available today. His answer was really interesting. What he said was that the purest form of meditation is the one that transcends the mind and is effortless. Then he mentioned a number of different ways in which people can meditate. He mentioned mantras, which are the repetition of a word or a sentence, repetition of a sound. He also mentioned Shaktipat from a guru. Shaktipat is the transference of energy from the guru to his disciple. He said that could be effective too. So it seems to me that when it comes to meditation, it's all about discovering which is the right form of meditation for you, pretty much like finding the right form of exercise for yourself, whether it's running or swimming or doing Ashtanga yoga. It's really about finding the right means, because there are several. Actually, what happens when somebody starts to learn to meditate in the beginning is that they expect to start meditating and have the mind go silent. But in fact, what happens is that they come away saying that the mind has become louder and even more unruly. So they give up, because rather than hearing silence, they hear the noise in the head. But in fact, what happens when you meditate in the beginning is that it's not that the mind has become more noisy or unruly. What's really happened is you've become aware of the way the mind is behaving, and it's always behaved. It's just that before you hadn't paid attention to it. So again, it comes down to discovering what form of meditation works for you, but then practicing. Practice, practice, practice. And then it's a little bit like learning to drive a car. You know how when you're learning to drive a car, you have to spend a little bit of time learning all the different maneuvers and all the different techniques and everything that you have to do. You have to really learn it. But then it comes down to driving and driving again and driving again. And then you can get into your car and off you go. So it's exactly the same with meditation. You just have to practice, practice, practice. And there'll come a point when you sit down, you'll sit down to meditate, and off you go, transcending the mind effortlessly. Can you please define real freedom?
Where you don't even have to express it. Freedom is that you don't have to say, I am free. The moment you are say, I am free, that means you have already recognized that bondage.
Yes.
Bondage. So it's something that makes you at home.
Being at home with yourself. Moksha, liberation of the soul from...
The same thing. Freedom and moksha, just words in Sanskrit and English.
Right. I was wondering, we talk about moksha as in being the liberation of the soul from the cycle of life and death, life and birth.
Yes, when life and
rather death and birth.
Life and death appears to be a burden. That's when a soul wants to free from it. But with knowledge, when it knows it's just a play that I created for myself, I have come here, then moksha is as good as bandhan. They both are two sides of the same coin.
Because we talk about jivan mukti and moksha. Which should we work towards?
It's the same thing. Jivan mukti is when you are alive, when you are still in the body, realize I am not just the body, I am much more.
What's real freedom? Interesting answer. Being at home. Interesting, but being at home with what? What are we talking about being at home with? Well, consider this, that for the most part, we don't accept all the different facets of ourselves. There are things that we like about ourselves and there are things that we don't. So when you're angry with somebody earlier in the day, that might be something that you prefer not to accept about yourself. There may be other things that, you feel you'd rather just ignore. And in doing so, what we do is we find that we can't really be comfortable in our own skin. And what Sri Shiji is talking about is being at home with all the different aspects of who you are truly, and just allowing yourself to be okay as you are and as you're not. Because in the acceptance of who you are, you begin to be more and more at home with the true self that resides deep within you. How to clear our negative karma. So, we have the rate at which our karma ripens or manifests is all down to the speed or the momentum of those specific karmas. Prarabdha karma you can't do anything about because it's already happening.
You have written a number of books on karma. You must have studied quite a bit. Yeah. It can't be said in one word. The ways of karma are unfathomable. Yeah.
The ways of karma are unfathomable. That's what he said. The ways of karma are unfathomable is a quotation directly from the Gita as quoted by Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna said, Gahan karmanaho gati. Gahan karmanaho gatihi. The ways of karma are unfathomable. Well, there are 3 types of karma, and maybe that's why it's a little bit more difficult to decipher how to deal with negative karma. So the first type of karma is prarabdha karma, which is the karma which is already in action. It's already playing itself out, it's ripened, it's manifesting in your life as you speak. The second type of karma is sanchit karma. Sanchit karma is the karma that will result at some point, you don't know when and you don't know where, but it will result at some point because of actions you've already taken in the past. And that's just going to happen at some point. Now, the third type of karma is agami karma. Agami karma is the future karma, which hasn't yet manifested in terms of your own actions. So the actions you take right now will have an impact on the way the future will unfold and the way the karma will actually manifest in your life. So what do you do about impacting the things that will show up in the future? That's the real question. What do you do with the things that are going to show up in the future? So consider this, that prarabdha karma is something you can't impact, but sanchit karma, the stuff that hasn't yet arisen, but the actions you've already taken, you may be able to impact. So it may be that you can intercept it from showing up in a negative way. So for example, if you've hurt somebody, it may be that you can take responsibility for that, or maybe request forgiveness, or forgive yourself for something that you've done. And then that particular karma, the way it unfolds, could be different to what it might be if you don't intercept. And agami karma, the karma that hasn't yet happened but will happen at some point in the future, so it's actions you haven't yet taken, well then here you can really impact that, because by doing good stuff now, you're guaranteeing that good stuff will happen in the future. So that's agami karma for you. You have control over that. You can completely control that. We were truly blessed today to meet with Sri Sri Ravi Shankar ji. His Art of Living Foundation is really worth a look into. He teaches meditation, pranayama, and a fantastic technique called the Sudarshan Kriya. He's also got a program called the Happiness Program, which looks really interesting. Thank you for joining us today.